I am thrilled to introduce our speaker this morning. I had written a little song in her honor, but I'm not going to sing it because I didn't finish it and I don't know all the words. But it was to the tune of Rockin' Robin. So without further ado, here's our Rappin' Rabbi, Rachel.
Now I want to hear this song. You got to finish it and learn the words. That way I can hear what it is. Oh, what an honor. And to the tune of Rockin' Robin, I mean, I'll take it. You know, that's the only reason I became a rabbi is because I love alliteration. That's the only reason. Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I feel honored to be here on this week before Thanksgiving, even though I kind of believe that we should be grateful every day, and Thanksgiving should be possibly more of an opportunity to honor Indigenous people in the land that we're on, so just putting that out there. But for me this year, Hanukkah also starts right after Thanksgiving, which is crazy, but not crazy. Everything's divinely timed, right? And I think we need to be celebrating miracles and light a little more right now, and that's what happens. For those of you that don't know, the Jewish calendar, I'm taking off my shoes, full disclosure. The Jewish calendar is a lunar one, meaning we go by the moon, right? So that's why our holidays sometimes fall a little differently. And when I first saw how early Hanukkah was this year, I was like, Thanksgiving weekend? Really? That doesn't make any sense. And then I'm like, no, it totally makes sense. Like, with this season of gratitude, this season of the holidays, has become such a stressor for so many people and a trigger for so many people I know, where we've almost lost the joy, the miraculous, celebrating the light and the gratitude that's underneath all of it. So to me, Hanukkah coming right after Thanksgiving, before we go into Christmas, the New Year, all these things, is really a reminder to celebrate light and miracles and what we're worthy of. What we're worthy of right now, here in this moment. And to me, that is the reminder that you're a miracle, right? That every single one of us in this body right now is a miracle. Sitting here, breathing, feeling. The fact we're in Hawaii, where people, you know, work their entire lives to come visit for a weekend. We get to wake up here every day, kind of like our creative thought just said. It's all a miracle. And for some reason, we have convinced ourselves that miracles really don't happen in this day and age. That miracles were reserved for our ancestors, the Bible, or tales of, you know, lore way back when, if you will. That miracles don't happen in relation to today. But I'm here to tell you I do not think that could be further from the truth. I think that miracles happen at every moment. And I think the first step to receiving a miracle is your awareness, is your acceptance, is your surrender, and your knowing that you're worthy of a miracle. How can a miracle happen to you if we're constantly blocking our own flow? How can a miracle happen unless we know deep down in our heart and our soul and our bones that we are worthy of a miracle? And then when we believe that we're worthy of a miracle, it's that action, that power of kind of getting out of our own way and saying like, okay, this is bigger than me. I don't know how this is going to go here in this earthly realm. It makes no sense. I logically can't understand it. I can't see myself getting out of it. This moment is horrible. It's never going to change. But as soon as we shift that belief to, I am worthy of a miracle, this is too big for me. I can't take it anymore. Take it from me. Whatever is greater than me, God, the moon, the angels, my spirit guides, my highest self, my divine self, my God self, the universe, take it all. I don't want to deal with it. But then we really have to give it up, right? You can't say, look, I have this huge bag of avocados. Take one, but I'm going to keep them all. That's not going to work, right? How can anyone take anything from you if you're not willing to give it up? And to me, miracles happen in relation to just that. Our willingness to surrender. The times we're in right now are crazy. crazy biblical beyond belief. You know, we think back to the Holocaust and book burning and all these things we've been through. I was just shadow banned on Instagram this past week when someone tried to quote me for saying something that was just a quote from the text in Hebrew. And I'm sitting there like, this is book burning. This is the exact same thing. What I had said was, Facebook and Instagram just renamed themselves as Meta, right? The metaverse. Way back when, like 10, 11 years ago, gosh, I think it was even like before I was a rabbi, what almost feels like a past life, I had an internet marketing business. And I was setting up Facebook pages for all these corporations that were their initial Facebook pages. They're still there. And I kind of feel like I went into that darkness and I saw what it really was. I got consumed by this alternate universe to the point where it led to my incurable illness and all those things I've talked about before. That's a whole nother story for another day. But I really felt myself consumed in a universe and a reality that wasn't real. No matter how much we think we're connected to these, we are not. It is not the same as this and me and you talking and us smiling and engaging in a hug. It is not the same. Any person can hide behind their phone and say whatever they want. You used to have to get chutzpah, you know, some ruach, some energy to get up and talk. Now any person can sit behind a computer and pretend like what they have to say matters without having to take any of that bravery and that courage and step out of that. The word meta means dead in Hebrew. No, that's the truth. That's the truth. It's the feminine version of she is dead, is what it means. It's the feminine version of death. Met is dead. Met'a literally would translate to she is dead. That's intense when you really stop and think about it. Because when we think about the fact it's feminine, I think about this being an attack on the Shekinah, the divine feminine that's rising, the essence that's trying to balance itself out, that is the Star of David. And I had said that to one of my friends, just, you know, having coffee or whatever, and they quoted me on Instagram, and Instagram wouldn't let them post it. Right? Because I don't think you can really argue with a rabbi telling you what something means in Hebrew. It's a pretty accurate quote. And then next thing you know, I'm trying to post stuff about Hanukkah for our event coming up next week, and they're not showing my posts again. And I saw a video yesterday where all these Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts with hundreds and thousands of followers, from Robert Kennedy to health and wellness people, are just being deleted. This is the equivalent of book burning, people. It is the exact same thing. Whether we agree with what is being said does not matter. We have a right to say it. I think back to my friend Goldie Lefkowitz, who's 99 years old and survived the Holocaust. And one of the most shaking parts of her story was she had a book by Heinrich, I hope I'm saying that correctly, in her suitcase as they were escaping. And the Nazis were checking her bag and this, that, and the other. And she was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna get out. We're not gonna get out because I have this book in my bag. It's kind of the same thing. If you follow Rabbi Rachel on Instagram now, or do you have a tag on your back? Do I have a tag on my back? It's strange times that we're living in. But it's these strange times of darkness where we need to shine our light a little more. And to me, that's why Hanukkah is coming early this year. Hanukkah is that celebration of light, that celebration of miracles, the celebration of a revolution, if you will. For those that don't know the story of Hanukkah, I don't want to give too much away because I want to shamelessly self-promote and hope that you'll all come celebrate Hanukkah with me a week from today. Tickets available at hawaiiana.org. But for those of you that don't know the story of Hanukkah, the Greeks had occupied Israel and had defiled the temple. And they had basically destroyed the synagogue. You weren't allowed to learn Judaism. You weren't allowed to study Torah. You weren't allowed to read Hebrew. We weren't allowed to practice our culture and religion because, just like now, at that time, it wasn't welcome for whatever reason. It was a threat, right, to the Greek occupation. Many people don't realize that the dreidel, right? Everybody knows, so we play dreidel on Hanukkah. That was developed because our ancestors couldn't study, so they would put Hebrew letters on the side of it. And when the Greeks, Germans, see, generation to generation, talk about that. When the Greeks came in, they wouldn't know they were studying Torah. They would think they were gambling. But so the Greeks had destroyed the synagogue, and there were cleansing rituals that had to be done every day in the synagogue to keep it holy. And at that time, right, that's the practice. We can sage our homes every day. We give ourselves a shower. We all have cleansing rituals. The synagogue was no different. They had destroyed the Hanukkah, the menorahs, right, the 8-flamed candelabra, and they had only left enough oil to burn for one night. Okay? One night. So they lit it up, and I can only imagine them thinking, all right, well, we've only got enough for one night, but we're going to light it anyway. And staying out of their own way, right? The belief in the miracle. And in a way, the unknowing whether or not it was going to work. But that intention and that determination and that act of doing it anyway, right? And seeing what the outcome would be. Meanwhile, Judah and his Maccabees, Judah is this man and he has a family of sons, and they're like, you know what, we're going to go and we're going to rise up. We're over this. We want to be able to practice our culture, our religion. We want to be able to do this. We're going for it. We're taking over. So as Judah and the Maccabees go to war, they light the temple, right? They light the Hanukkah. They light the one night worth of flame. And as the battle's going on, it ended up burning for 8 nights. As they were battling, coming into the synagogue each night for the strength to continue, obviously they ended up winning that battle. This small revolution of a dude and his sons who just got a huge following behind him and took over this tyranny and corruption. And the miracle of Hanukkah was born. The celebration of logically, rationally, physically on the earthly plane, I look at this and I know there's only enough for one night. But you know what? Something tells me to go for it anyway. And believe that a miracle can happen, that I'm worthy of a miracle, and that light will continue to shine. So my intention with hosting our Hanukkah event on the first night of Hanukkah this year is very intentional. I want everyone to come together and light their flames. It is time for us to bring the miraculous, the sacred, the spiritual to the forefront. That is what we're being called to do. With that hope and that faith and that unknowing of how's this going to go, right? So we're going to have menorah making. Everyone's going to be able to take home candles. I've got menorahs for the adults, menorahs for the keiki, lots of help on that. And I'm very excited about that people can come together and we can ignite this flame as a community, maybe kind of like Judah and the Maccabees, I don't really know. But then take it home and let that light shine throughout our community in all different ways. For those 8 nights and beyond, into this time that has become a time of stress and turmoil and chaos for a lot of people. We're being called to stand up, celebrate the miraculous, celebrate our lights, and rise above this earthly plane. Trust in what is spiritual and sacred, that defies all logic, all reason, all of our knowing. Because in reality, we know nothing. I know nothing. I can read books, I can study, I can share what I learn with you. But I am no teacher. This is the teacher. This is the teacher. Whatever it is that's bigger than you or I is screaming right now in ways that I know it's been yelling before. And where we've been called to rise up in love and in the miraculous and in the sacred as before. So we celebrate light. We celebrate miracles. And I saw a meme online the other day that was like, Jews celebrate oil lasting for 8 days by eating fried donuts. And we wonder why they're so resilient. Because that's how we gotta do it. We can't harp on the negative. We can't stay in the darkness. If we dwelled on everything that was wrong and what wasn't working, we're never going to get out. That hole just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and we carry ourselves more. Imagine if they said, well, screw it. We don't have enough oil. We're not going to light it anyway. But when you come to that place where you step out of your comfort zone, You go into the miraculous. You put this thing down, because to me, this is the next revolution we're up against. I don't think we even realize that. It's almost like a spiritual revolution on a deep, deep level, calling us to reconnect and testing us in some strange way. We've become so dependent on this, myself included. But I think we're being called to see that the universe is here. The miraculous is here. And I don't believe revolutions start behind your phone on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all that. Do I believe we can share our message? Absolutely. Do I believe it's part of our realm right now because there's a reason for it? Absolutely. But do I think we need to be aware that Facebook and Instagram, being called Meta, is a very clear message that is now in plain sight? That it might not be death that we think in the physical sense. That a spiritual part of ourselves dies every time we get sucked into that vortex. Every time we sit down at a table with our friends and our family and the kids all start texting each other and going through Facebook and Instagram instead of seeing the beautiful flowers outside, instead of connecting with what's around them. I don't think presence happens behind your phone. I think that this takes you out of the moment in a way that us as humans have never had to deal with before. That when you put this up, a mask goes up, a shield goes around your aura, and now no one can hug you, no one can love you. You're in this vortex, you're not in this vortex. So to me, that's the miracle. That's the miraculous in this. Knowing we're worthy of miracles. We were put here to make a miracle happen. And miracles happen by us allowing for them to happen. Staying out of our own way. We can bring awareness to what isn't working, right? Just so we can fix it. Just so we can uncover what is working. So we can ask for it to work better. And then step back and go, all right, you said you'd take care of it. It's actually easier that way. Isn't it crazy to think about? Like, isn't it so much easier to hand off your problems to someone else? Yet we don't think to do that. We think to stew about it and cause all this, stuff and chaos within ourselves and it's just what happens. When it actually could be so easy because we have this infinite source of love waiting to help us if we would just get out of our own way and know that we're worthy of a miracle. So I hope everyone will come and celebrate Hanukkah with us next Sunday. It'll be an awesome time. Today is your last day to purchase tickets just because we have to have an exact number for COVID measures. I'm just excited to be hosting an in-person event. I'm so stoked for us to be able to come together as a community. This is what we need. This is what our ancestors did. I mean, I can't imagine God calling Abraham, Abraham, come up to the mountain. He's like, hold on, I got to send this text back real quick, God. But here in today's climate, that wouldn't be so weird. I don't think God does well with pause. I don't, personally. I think God does better with, hey, I'm here for you, do you want my help? No? All right, figure it out for a little while. You'll come back to me when you need me. It's the story every time. I have a little something to share with you as the rapping rabbi, I guess, so-called. The moment you realize that this is all real. Everything you think, everything you feel. That you are the divine put here to heal, to help shine light on what does conceal. To help uncover the layers you peel, that you and spirit made a deal. That you would shine your light, you would shine it with zeal. That you were put here to help turn the wheel. In the moments we have no choice but to pray and kneel, that you are put here to feed those who need a meal, to help bring light to the darkness, those who lie, cheat, and steal. You wrote the contract, the divine did seal. The battle's not over, there is work to be done, but here in this moment, I freaking won. By choosing what's right, not what's easy or fun, by knowing the journey has just begun, that we are empowered by the moon and the sun, that there is work to do, or I guess be undone. There were times when I've wanted to just cut and run, but I know it all happened because I put down my guns. My dreidel shows Gimel, the other shows none, so I am here to remind you, you got this, hun. Just like Judah and the Maccabees, we can choose to stand up, we can choose to be free. We can create a new earth, pure sovereignty. We can stand up to division and tyranny. We can choose to let go and simply be. We can choose to stand up and say, Hineni. Here I am in this moment as part of the we, who knows we are one, you and me. We are the rainbow, the birds and the bees. We are the warriors for the earth and the trees. We were put here for a reason, this is certainty. We all have those moments where we just want to flee. Faith, patience, and persistence are key. I don't get why living comes with a fee. Why we even need labels like she or he. Why we can stand on our feet or fall to our knees. Why we feel everything from anger to glee. Why we are the ball, the divine is the tee. Miracles mean a lot to me, and I know they happen when we know we're worthy, that we deserve to receive, that God is we, that I am the author of my story. We celebrate light, our ancestors fight, the moon that lights up the sky at night, taking back freedom not with power or might, but by spirit alone we choose to take flight. I would rather be happy than need to be right. I would rather choose love than give in to fright. When you look inward, you are given insight why you need to let go where you've tried to hold tight. Everything is rainbow, not black or white. When we know this, we reach new heights. We are the rainbow. We can choose to shine bright. A time for miracles, honoring it all, because it all matters, big or small. Whether you choose to rest when you hit a wall, if you choose to stand up after you fall, if you choose to answer the call of the divine without a brawl. Do you choose to move forward or sit and stall, to support local or shop in a mall? The divine doesn't know how to drop the ball. I may be short, but my spirit is tall. Be thankful, be grateful, be present and more, for we never know what life has in store. The divine has our back, this I know for sure. When our actions are loving, our intentions are pure. We don't need the drama, the guts and the gore, the chaos and commotion we may have needed before. We may think without it, life will be such a bore, but no one deserves to cry alone on the floor. You can put down your armor, the shields you wore. This is your life. It's not fiction or lore. You are worthy of miracles. You don't need to do more. These times are biblical. I know this in my core. God gives us wings. We can choose to soar. We can use our voice. We can choose to roar. We will always be rewarded. We will never be poor. When our heart is open, Spirit enters the door. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You are worthy. The divine is your friend. You are spirit in a body on lend. We need healing. To this we must tend. Tikkun olam, our world we mend. We never know when it will come to an end. In our books that was not penned, sometimes our beliefs we must suspend. And it's not easy, I cannot pretend. All that is sacred we must defend, because each moment a message we send to the divine who decides where to bend. Always supported, never alone. You are worthy of miracles. Let this truth be known. Signs you are always being shown. We're all going deeper. The cover's been blown. Here we are as spirit in a body on loan. What is sacred is nowhere near your phone. It is what you are. Shaloha. Shalom. Thank you very much, everybody.